Are we live?
Are we?
Are we live?
No, well, kind of.
Is this live?
Sort of. Actually, now, yes, we are
Now
live.
this is live. Okay.
Now it is live.
That was.
We apologize.
I
apologize.
I don't even know. I don't even know what we should.
What was wrong with him, Shane? Sorry, that was this question that we should ask for you all, for us.
Yeah. Look. Never had a reaction like that ever. In all the years we've been doing this, like that. I'm not gonna lie. That threw me off, and not 100% happy about how I handled it. I feel like there was definitely probably the better follow-up question that could have been answered there. But that was certainly not the reaction to mentioning Shane Waldron that I thought we were going to get. So I don't know what to make of it. I do think the context is important. He was a rookie. He was only with them for 1 year.
Well, some of the research that I did behind the scenes afterwards on it, he is not, from what I understand, like when we're going to talk to Tom Pelissero, he's going to speak very well as Shane Waldron a little bit later in the show. But I've also heard from different people that he is not exactly Mr. Front of the Room guy. He is not a head coach galvanizing dude. He's a little bit awkward. That doesn't mean that he doesn't know what he's doing. But as far as connecting with guys, you could clearly see that he didn't have the best connection with Jaxon Smith-Njigba.
And that's just one player.
Right.
That's just one player. But unfortunately, it's the only player we've had access to so far that's played for him. Maybe there will be more as this week goes along. But that was...
I appreciated the honesty.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, even like people in the comments like, "Oh, we're cooked," and like,
maybe we are.
I wouldn't worry about it too much.
Yeah,
but
Jaxon Smith-Njigba, 63 receptions, 628 yards, 4 touchdowns. He has DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett on the roster too. So it's not like he wasn't a part of the offense. But when I saw that initially, like, oh, maybe the Bears are cooked. But we'll have to wait and see on that, you guys.
At least those wings were cooked. Good wings. Good. Bounty came through.
Well, and in life, especially in coaching, if I may wax poetic for you for a second, it's more important to be respected than to be liked in that position. And I'm not saying that Jaxon Smith-Njigba had a ton of respect for him with that, is this live reaction, but maybe he'd look back on his time with Shane Waldron someday in perhaps a different way than he's looking at it right now.
I've watched that probably like 20 times. Since we recorded that yesterday, which was also why I was thrown off by like just the question of are we live? Because technically we weren't live, but also we all have microphones on, and then we were all he ended up saying he was kidding with that too. So we're good with it, but it was definitely and then we had to bring up the Big Ten championship game where we all forgot that like
they both
half
had
the roster had COVID, and I completely forgot that too, even though I covered that game. Specifically, as we're talking about Shane Waldron and this hire. I'll just summarize what I've heard now, including that conversation yesterday we had. I think you did a good job there, Carm, talking about, like, there's almost some fluciness to this hire, too, where, like, I don't know that everybody looks at Matt Eberflus like he's the, he's going to rah-rah, Dan Campbell you up and get you ready for the game. But schematically, he's going to do a hell of a job. He's going to probably, at least to start the game, put you in the right position. I mean, Matt Eberflus has been doing a lot of things well, despite the fact that I'm not sure how many, especially fans at this point, look at him like some big galvanizing force that's getting them, ready to go on Sunday. It seems like the early feedback, and again, we haven't talked to Shane Waldron. No. I've never talked to Shane Waldron. He has not been introduced to the media yet. But it seems like Shane Waldron's kind of more of that type of coach. But the more and more people you talk about around the league, like, he's going to scheme things up. It's going to be good, and we're going to talk to Tom Pelissero, who does know Shane Waldron. Apparently, he's known him for a while, so he's got some really good insight on that. And so you'll get a different perspective. So definitely a awkward exchange there with Jaxon Smith-Njigba. I think it's pretty clear how he feels about him. I think that's fair to say. But it is just one player, and it's just one thing to, I guess, put in the scorebook.
Yeah, and
to consider.
I talked to Kerry Joseph, who does know Shane Waldron, and how he can, again, construct an offense. And he said it's all about Shane's mentality, putting the quarterback in a confident position. Look, we haven't talked to him like you said, Adam, but I feel like when we do get that introductory press conference, he's going to come off as a football guy, right? Like an Eberflus type, like you were talking about. Not have the big personality, but the X and O's, get on the whiteboard, drop the play. This is what you got to do. This is where you got to be. Details. Like, that's what I think we're going to come across when we actually get to talk to him in person. But, yeah, that was very interesting what Jaxon Smith-Njigba had to say.
I fingers crossed this works out for the Bears, but you could put me in the slightly concerned history of Matt Eberflus hires corner after that moment with Jaxon Smith-Njigba. I'm not completely willing to give the Bears the 100% benefit of the doubt that they made a great hire. I hope they did, and he is well respected around the league. And the Bears got a lot of props for moving quickly and getting it done with Shane Waldron. So I'm not by any means out on Shane Waldron just from one Jaxon Smith-Njigba reaction. But
another way to look at it is I think that's the first negative thing we've heard about him.
I was about to say that too. Like, everything else has been pretty positive with Shane Waldron. That's the one outlier.
Now, it's also a pretty strong source. It's a player who played for him. But
I had heard the front of the room thing before too.
Okay.
So that wasn't the first time, So,
but I mean, a lot of coaches are like that.
It's fine. It's fine.
Yeah.